989-233-8380. Jean Ann DeShano with the Remax of Michigan.
Wine glasses are full. The divas are ready. Now back to the Devolution Show.
So, we're back.
And my wine glass is full.
And is mine.
Delicious.
Thank you,
Yes.
Juliana.
Yes. Thank you,
Good
Juliana.
job. Good job.
Yes.
So we're kind of talking about a lot of things today, which I love. I love doing that. One of the things that we were going to talk a little bit about is communication.
Yes.
And we've been communicating well, so
Yes.
so I think that qualifies us to actually talk about it.
Okay, perfect. I recently I belong to this organization Dovia, and we had a presentation, and it was put on by it's called Our Community Listens, which is it's free training, and anytime you can get training for free, I always jump at stuff like that. But it's a 3-day class.
I like that.
And it started out, and I don't remember the name of the company, but I will look it up as I'm talking about it here. But anyway, so they started this to bring better communication skills into the workplace and listening skills and stuff.
Oh,
you know?
boy, is that needed.
Yeah. So they did. And he has, since then, now he does this for free. This is something his company now is going all over the nation, and they're doing this and stuff. And it's teaching better, like listening skills, communication, and just things like that. So anyway, this presentation was done at this meeting I was at. And like I said, it's free. I'm doing it in Midland, and they go in Saginaw, and they're here or whatever too. And it's free. It's 3 days. My commitment is 3 days. You have to apply, which is not a big to do. It's like, why do I want to do this and stuff like that? But they say that there's statistics and stuff. If you go online, again, it's Our Community Listens, go online and they will give you the statistics and all that stuff, that how it has actually improved like families, workplaces, because you learn it, and right away after the 3 days, you start to use it, and people are responding how great it is, you know. And the one thing, like, and I mean, working with couples and stuff like that, I've never used these two words, is like logic and emotion. And it makes perfect sense to have those two words. It just, when she said that, she goes, it's like, if you are emotionally vested in something, do not argue with it logically.
Good point.
Because you can't.
Right.
You can't. Let the emotional just take over. Let it be what it is. More than likely, that'll all come to its conclusion. So it's just like,
because
listen.
an emotional
Right.
person isn't going to listen to a logical argument.
Right. Yeah. And they gave this example. The mom, she was great. She says, she was tucking in her son, who was like 8 years old or whatever. And she's telling him good night. And he just says, he goes, you know, Mom, he goes, I'm just really sad. Dad just doesn't seem to be able to play with me very much anymore. He works so hard. And she right away, she says, what are you talking about? You were just playing ball before dinner. You know, and she goes, and he just looked at me and she goes, you know, I don't know, I'm just really sad. I wish he had more time. And she wanted to write again rebuttal. And it's just like, no, wait a minute. There's no, I can't show him pictures. No. There's no logic right now. This is all emotional. And so she sat quietly, or sat next to him, or laid next to him in bed or whatever, and just kind of let him work through it. And he did, because then he goes, yeah, I know he works hard, but we did play ball tonight. And she goes, yeah, you did. And he goes, yeah, it was fun. Oh yeah. And then last night we did this. So he found his way
right out of it.
Right. Yeah. Right back to it, as opposed to being told. So she says, like, so the logic, you can't. That means you're not listening to them, because emotionally they feel something very emotional right now. So it's just like, say nothing. Just listen. And now most people will work their way back.
That's really good advice.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
And I've never used those two words together like that, logic and emotion, but it makes perfect sense.
The logical, it makes me think of, you know, sometimes men can be more
logical.
Let's fix this right now. And sometimes you just need to be able to say what's bothering you, and then you start to feel better.
I think that's one reason why we need female friends. Because I can call anybody in this room and go blah 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 blah, and they'll go, oh, you okay? Yeah. I am. Yeah. And that'll be the end of it. Instead, well, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and I don't know why they did that, and now don't talk to them anymore.
Yeah, and you shouldn't have did this, or you should, and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, that's why we need female friends.
Yeah, it was really enlightening. So I'm very excited to do it. I'm doing it in June. And I'm full of myself, but I own who I am. But I think I have good communication skills. I think my listening skills are pretty intuitive.
You know, and good, that's 3/4 of it.
Right. But I want to go and keep learning more. Like, I want to know things. I just
So
do.
you have to come back on after you go to
I
it.
am. I'm very excited. I really, really am. And like I said, it's free training, and it's if you Google it again, it's Our Community Listens. There's a lot of statistics behind it, and they don't recommend that
Our
you
Community Listens.
Yeah, they don't recommend that you do it like as a total workplace, because they don't want you all there together, because you need to be comfortable, because you do group things, and if you're with all your coworkers, it might stifle you.
Right.
But they're going to give you tools on how to, and that.
Right.
And the same like with family. It's cute because a lot of couples will come back and they'll, like, the wife will do it or the husband will do it, and they come back and they go, "This is amazing. I am using this in our relationship, and it is so much better. I understand better."
Any kind of stuff that you can take like that. Years and years ago, I took this real estate class. And I think you and I have had this conversation actually. And it was from a real estate trainer. And he was talking about what kind of problems that we have. And as a single mom, one of my biggest problems was real estate. You have to work when other people aren't. And when other people are, you're doing your paperwork. You're working basically all the time, is what it boils down to. And as a single mom with 2 boys, it was, I could take off for their soccer games, and I could do that. But there's other times when I was working until 8, 9 o'clock at night. But anyway, chores were a big thing, and it was stressing me out because I felt like I was doing everything. And the guy said, "What's stressing you out in your business?" And I said, "I have to do everything. I'm burnt out. I have to come home and do." "Well, do your boys have chores?" "Well, yeah, they have chores. They're not doing them." And he told me to sit down with them and ask them what was most important to them in that list of chores, to make the list of chores and pick. So I made the list of chores. We went around the table and each of us picked.
Yep.
And I never had to have that fight again because it wasn't important to Mike that the garbage was taken out.
Right.
But it was important to Errol because he couldn't stand that smell.
Right.
It wasn't important to Errol that the bathroom was clean, but Mike had to have the bathroom clean. I didn't know that. Right. And without that communication, that household would have just been different than it was.
Then they get some choice in their response.
Well, and you valued you valued what they liked and didn't like, so you gave that value to them, that they had a voice and said, and
I listened to what they had to say. That's huge. I never realized. Well, through many divorces, I've realized that communication was important, but I never realized how important it was in families to. I mean, I knew coming home from school and eating together, that's important. You know,
I know that's communication.
That garbage out right now.
Right.
Yeah. I know that doesn't work.
But when you really sit down and talk and you're not afraid because families accept each other no matter what.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And you just are totally honest and vulnerable. That's a perfect place for you to be vulnerable.
Yeah. Yes.
And you can cry in front of your family and they're going to love you probably even more because they see that human side of you. And so communication of all type, emotional, logical, everything is so important inside the family.
We used to have, I have 4 kids and stuff, and they're 2 years
I
apart.
can't even imagine you with those kids growing up.
I know. It's kind of crazy. But
Get over here.
Well, we would have family meetings. And that one, that would be like, you would just start to see, I mean, and every family is dysfunctional, so I don't want to say we became dysfunctional. However, but there was just like, I just knew it. There was just something not gelling, whatever, whether I all of a sudden found myself being very tense or the one that's always ruling the roost and fighting or whatever, just get that chore done. Let's do this. You need to do, we started to get out of sync with the routine or whatever. So we would have a family meeting and my kids would tell you the same thing. So we'd get at the table and they could choose, somebody could just go choose whatever the talking stick would be. And you couldn't speak until the stick. So of course it would be like milk or eggs, waiting to get a reaction out of me, like to say, you can't use it, so they could right away start the communication. Go, well, you said I could choose. So I had to and so it taught me like some good things, but we would go around and it was like, you had to use like I statements, and it would start like, it would be foolish in the beginning. And it would be like, I feel like, stupid right now. This is stupid because James keeps looking at me or whatever. And they would go around and they would kind of pick on each other. And I had to be patient but in time.
They had to get that out.
Yeah. In time it started to. And then I knew when it was time for me to open up to where all I had to say is something like that is just like, I feel very worn out and tired. because I just feel that everybody around me is not in a happy place. And I want to do that. And just saying those words to my kids, like I could rant and bitch like the best of them. How tired I was, they didn't hear me.
Right.
But like that, and all of a sudden, once I let them kind of run their course on the little bit of craziness, we would resolve stuff. Yeah, they would. They would be like eggs, and then they'd have to pass it. But they knew, and it's crazy. They would not speak unless they had the stick, or whatever, the ketchup bottle, or the milk, or the egg.
You show that you need their help. You need.
Yeah, it just
I love that.
Yeah.
How many kids do you have, Ann?
3.
And 2 older ones, and then the 4-year-old.
The 2 are 26 and 20. Live out in Oregon. Yeah,
and a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you are
that
Wonder
4-year-old
Woman.
keeps her hot.
Oh, I bet.
She's
I couldn't
the most
even imagine.
active out of the 3. The other 2 are like really calm, like me.
And
I was
then
just thinking about how you were saying
time.
the dysfunctional. I give in too much, and I'm working on that. But we'll get somewhere and like, oh, she's got stuff all over her shirt. I'm like, or she didn't brush, I didn't brush her hair. I let things go sometimes, and then I'll be like, oh no, I need to carry extra clothes around and stuff, because I'll get somewhere and she'll have, Play-Doh stuff in her hair. Like, I do look at my child.
I know, but really, in the big scheme of things,
it doesn't
But
bother
it's
me.
so funny how they're all so different.
Yes.
Somebody I was talking to just the other day, like Errol, my oldest one, was so meticulous about his clothes. He still is. Everything had to match. When he was a teenager, it was brands, and Mikey could care less. One day he came out, Errol was, Mikey was probably about 5, so Errol was 11 or 12. And Mikey comes out, I let him dress himself, and he comes out with these 2 different hideous plaids on. Plaid shirt and plaid pants, And I said, Mikey, that doesn't match. Yes, it does. Blue to blue. Brown to brown.
Right.
And he was right. How can you argue with that?
You can't argue. It matches
And
in his
Errol
world.
looked at me and he goes, he's right, Mom. So we let him go out with 2 plaids.
That's good. Yeah.
They're so different. They're so funny.
And isn't it weird how that just occurs because they're
Yes.
raised in the same household. And I know we all change and evolve. It's not like you stay exactly who you were at 21 going into 22. You got, life changes you or whatever. But
it's them.
Yeah.
It's not us. It's them.
That they're just, it's.
If I was 25, I would be posting a lot more selfies.
True.
With the
I probably would do that whole naked video too. I'd be on there.
I look at my daughter, 26, the stuff she posts, and like, oh, it just wouldn't be fun now. But
I agree. There's just, it's just, it has so changed.
Life changes all the time.
Right, which is so cool. But I don't understand, that's that piece. But I'm a family of 9. And there's not.
That must have just been crazy. An Italian family of 9.
Yeah, and I cannot, I know. None of us are alike. I mean, if you see us, our voices sound the same. Like,
remember that
whatever,
day that I thought I saw your sister?
Yeah.
It was she resembled Mitzi very much, and she said, and I texted her, and she said, if she resembles me, it's not my sister. We don't look alike.
Yeah, because they're blonde. I have a sister who's blonde.
My sister's blonde, blue-eyed, and she lifts
so's mine.
But if you hear our voice,
Yeah.
Like with my sister Lou, I mean, her husband could call and if I answered the phone, I'd go, "Hey, Charlie." And he'd go, "Hey, babe, I'll be home." And I go, "I'll be waiting." And then he'd be like all hyped up and everything. And Lou go, "Jesus, Mitz." And I goes, "Yeah, I know. It's your husband. I'm then he'd come over and I go, "Hey, Charlie, that was me on the phone." He goes, "Damn it, I should have known." And he fell for it every time. But he couldn't, because we can sound alike. And that,
my sister and I were adopted and we sound alike.
That's
which is really weird.
Yeah.
When my cousins used to come see me in California, it was before cell phones and everything. And one of them would answer the phone. They always thought it was me.
That's something.
And yet we
cool.
don't sound alike, and yet we do.
Yeah, very cool.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I would like to say one thing about growing up and being so much different, like, your parents and things like that. My kids came out so much different than each other. They were so, individualized. Mm-hmm. And when they were individualized, I'm like, no, I can't take any compliments for their attitude about things at all. They came out like that. That's how they were when they came out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They just had they knew who they were.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. From the moment that they were born, they were looking around saying, oh, yeah, this is what the world looks like.
Yeah, they're very interesting. Kids are very interesting. Yeah. So, Anne, you're going to be opening a shop at the new place. What's it called?
City Market.
City
Yay,
Market.
Bay City.